Once again, it's Lee Kreider, producer of the RAAM Show, and we're here again today with the inimitable Danny Chu, who always does this great analysis of the statistics of the race. If you don't care about numbers, well, turn us off, but he always has some interesting numbers to give us. How are you doing today, Danny?
Doing good, Lee.
Good to see you again. And so let's start talking about the women's race. What's going on there?
Okay, we have a record field. 8 women started this year. 4 of them were former winners. And the woman who I suspected would be out of the lead and that's a Swiss rider, Isa Pulver. Because if you look at the speeds, whatever she won and all the other women won, and of course you have to look at the 50 plus Shauna's speed is a lot slower than when she has the overall record 20 years ago. Isa Pulver, when she won back in 2015, she had a higher speed than the other winners, Leah Goldstein, Danielle Genovese, and so because she had a higher speed and because she's the only former winner under 50, I pick her to be the solo overall women's winner this year. And it looks like she has at least a one-time station lead on the other women. And I did check her speed against her speed when she won back in 2015, and she is faster than she was when she won in 2015, but she, at this point of the race, she's not as fast as that woman, Nicole, from the same country, Switzerland, that won last year, okay?
And when I looked earlier this morning, and I've been busy, I haven't had a chance to check the stats, I believe Shauna was second overall among the women.
Shauna did move into second overall, which is very impressive because she's the only 60-plus rider in the race. But it's even though she doesn't turn 60 until later this year, 60 is her racing age. But what's interesting is she's also very close with the other women, the Japanese woman, Chinoku, and then the Alexander Miner, the woman that's in third in the under 50. And then Leah Goldstein. They've all checked into the 8th time station, all right?
Yeah, and it's going to be a good race. I always say the women put on a good show, and we're looking forward to more of that. So let's now go over and talk about what's going on with the men, Danny.
Well, as expected, 5-time winner Strausser is way out in the lead like he normally does. However, he's nowhere near his record pace that he set back in 2014, and he's even a little bit slower than he was last year at this point of the race. So he's a little bit behind where he was last year, and obviously he hasn't slept yet. He does not sleep until the third night. Marco Bello was running about 2 hours behind him, but because it looks like Marco got 2 hours of sleep last night, he's now 4 hours behind Strausser. But those two are way out the lead for everybody else. And all the more impressive because Bello's a 50-plus rider holding second place overall. And the other thing, the second and third 50-plus riders are within 12 minutes of each other. At time station 9, David Hossey is only 12 minutes ahead of Mark Pattinson. So that's going to be a very good race for the second place 50-plus.
And you wanted to talk about the Raw this year. I think there's some interesting things going on in the race across the West.
Yes, the race across the West, the solo race, the leading men and women are minutes apart as they went through time station number 9. The men's winner went through at 10:54, and the women's leader went through at 10:55, a minute apart. So basically, you have the men's and women's leader in the race across the West riding together as of time station 9. So it will be interesting to see if Jennifer Orr can win the overall like that woman did. Do you remember her name? She then went on to win the solo RAAM the next year, but
Sarah Cooper.
Sarah Cooper, yeah, a couple of years ago was the overall winner in Race Across the West, and it looks like Jennifer Orr is trying to do that this year.
Well, I told you earlier to watch Jennifer Orr.
You did.
I think she's going to be an impressive racer. You mentioned the times between Who's the first place man again in Raw? Help me.
Andres Rodriguez.
Okay.
They're minutes apart, so very close.
But at the time station, but there's a time offset on the start, isn't there?
There is, but when you look at the average speed, you look at average speed to know who's winning, because that's independent of when they started. And I mean, he has an average speed of 13.83, and she has 13.82. So that's extremely closely.
Yeah.
All right. And the other thing to look at is how fast the Race Across the West teams are doing. The Race Across, they're less than 2 time stations away from reaching the raw finish in Durango.
And that there are 2 Viastat teams this year.
Yeah, the 4-person male team. They're both doing over 20 miles an hour.
In the past, they've raced as 8-person RAAM teams, I know, and done rather very well.
Well, they don't allow the 8-person teams in the raw, it looks like, right?
I don't know. I've never seen one, but
I'll have to check and get back with you the next time we do a thing, whether they're on pace to set a new 4-person raw record. They might be, all right?
Thanks, Danny. You always keep us up to date. Bye, Danny.
Okay, bye, Lee.